I remember right when I decided to stop being so egocentric and arrogant, and that, you know what, there's other people that can do this better than me, and I need to find those people. That's when my business just exploded.
Disruption.
What is the one thing that you wish you learned faster when growing your channel?
Oh, man. I would say the one thing that people say a lot of, I think I've heard a lot of creators say the same thing. It's like finding some good employees and being okay delegating some stuff and giving up the reins a little bit so you can focus on the things that are very more important. It took me a really long time to get an editor, and I was nervous about it, and I didn't know who was going to, we tried a few different people, but still I was like, nobody can do it like me, even though I'm like not even trained in it. I'm not even that good. But then we found an editor I think he's been with us for like 6 years now. He's been with us for so long, and he's our main editor. We've had a couple that have come and gone and that have been great also, but this guy is so good. He understands our business, understands the content, comes up with jokes and things in the edits that I don't even think about, because he's like a fan of YouTube. And then our other employee that we have that we got him, I think he was 22 years old when we hired him. He went on like a church mission, went to like 1 year of college, and was pretty new and fresh, but he understood social media and was passionate about it. And we gave him a chance to come on board, pay a good amount of money and like rewards and stuff for it. But like he's done a really good job. Like when I talk about Facebook and like how well we've done on Facebook, a lot of that is due to his hustle and his understanding of the background. And so I think sometimes it's nice to get a brand deal or to get some ad revenue and be like, yes, I just made this money, but you've got to be open to reinvesting back into the business and doing it in a strategic way and like finding people that can come on board. And even right now, like I've been thinking about it, I'm like, man, I could really use someone to travel with me and help film and like film some of these shots. So it's not just me on some of these shoots. And that's my next thing. I like my most current thing that I need to do. But I think if you're making some money, it'd be okay finding somebody. Don't be like, this is your opportunity. You can be here for free. You should just be grateful for it. I know some creators do that and it works for some of them, but I like the idea of having a payment in there, like how much you're going to pay them, but have some incentives on there. Like if we get this brand deal, or if you do this and have this ad revenue go up, like have some bonuses in there. That way we're all winning together. And it doesn't in a way feel as much like a business. It feels like we're family and we're all trying to be successful together. And when there's a win, it's not just me as the creator and the owner that's like benefiting from it financially, but the whole team does. And so those are some of the things that I think it's hard to do for a lot of people. And going back to like going to school and getting day jobs, like going to school and learning how to work with people in group projects and to do these things, even though the projects didn't matter at all in college, but understanding how to work with people, those skills I took away that were really good. And then also having my day job, like learning how to work with my team and being part of a team. And there's definitely some life skills that you learn, because just because you make videos and you're creative and you're funny, this is a business. It's just as much of a business as if I owned the Chick-fil-A down the road and I had to understand the finances of that and running it and managing employees. So there's a lot that goes into being a creator that maybe doesn't sound as sexy, but I think it's important.
Well, you know what? I mean, you're obviously an awesome boss. The fact that you give someone that edits videos upside on actual sales revenue, that's very progressive. That's very, non-orthodox, to do something like that. How big is your team right now?
It's pretty small. It really is. Just like as of right now, we have our editor that's been with us forever, and then our other creative director that runs a lot of the stuff. And so really, as of right now, it's the three of us.
Wow.
That are running most everything.
You make a lot of noise and get a lot of things done with three people. That's really seriously amazing.
I'm really grateful for our team. And at some point, I mean, yeah, we've had some good people in the past that have worked for us too. And we've also tried out people. One of the things that Devin said for finding an editor, which is a good tip for somebody if it's looking for an editor, is film a video, like your standard video, and get like 5 or 10 people that apply to the job. Give them all the footage and give them like a 24-hour time frame and say, you've seen our videos, or go watch our videos. Take this footage and see what you can do to make it look like one of my videos. And some of the people, like 3 or 4 of them, Devin had told me this. He's like, 3 or 4 of them won't even edit it. They'll just disappear. They applied for the job, they're interested, but then they get the thing and they're like, nah, I don't want to edit this. And then some of them will make videos. Some of them will be terrible. Like they've never watched YouTube in their life, but they went to film school and they understand that side of things. but then you'll have one or two that are amazing, and you're like, I need to hire these people. And so that was really good advice from Devin about how to find somebody, so you can like test them out first and make sure they know how to edit stuff first and understand your voice, understand what YouTube creators they like, what their sense of humor is and stuff. So yeah, that was good. It's good to get editors. And I've heard people at YouTube meetings when we've had like the top 100 creators out. We did this for a few different years before COVID, where it's like the top 100 creators, and they would all talk. And it seemed like hiring an editor was always one of the things that they're like, I need more editors. I need to figure out how to do this.
That's a consistent theme that I continue to hear about today as well. In the last 15 years that I've been doing this, is finding a good editor is so valuable. And usually creators, when they find that person, they never let them go. They'll do whatever they have to keep them on, because that's the first step to scaling. And I think as like growing a business, whether it's your own creator business or a startup or whatever it is, I think the best thing to learn is to understand what are your weaknesses and what are your strengths, and address your weaknesses, because those are bottlenecks in the business most likely, and get people that are better than you that do those things, and then optimize what you're really, really, really good at. And one thing I tell a lot of my managers is that I'm not going to really respect them as a leader until they figure out how to hire people that are way more talented than they are. And then they're going to truly learn how to scale and build out talents that maybe are much more strategic in helping the business scale and helping the business achieve its goals. And so it's one of those harder things to learn. But I remember right when I decided to stop being so egocentric and arrogant, and that there's other people that can do this better than me, and I need to find those people. That's when my business just exploded. And our business, the Ben Group and TubeBuddy, we try to do that today as we hire, we really want to build bring people in that can bring things to the table that we didn't have before, but that can also help us focus on our current strengths.
That's great. I love that. I think one of the things that I learned early on from Gary Vaynerchuk, he was talking about delegation and also his employees. And he talked about how some companies, like I love my 2 employees that we have right now, and I don't want them going anywhere because they're like family. They're important to the company.
Well, you treat them like partners.
Yeah. But at the same time, if they have a better opportunity, I hope that what they learned while they were here, like, will help them be even more successful in life. And that's kind of the thing where Gary has said a lot of companies get really upset when people leave. And yeah, if you come for 6 months and learn what you can and then leave and go create like a competitive business, that does stink. But I've told my employees when I hired them, and a couple others that we've had in the past, I'm like, I would be pumped if you worked here for 2 years. You add value to our company and our side of things. You learn a lot yourself about this space. The curtain's going to be unveiled. You're going to learn more about social media than what any school can teach you. And I would love it if you went somewhere and did awesome and created your own thing and did great. And so I think it's okay to celebrate some people when they do go somewhere else and they've learned here. And in some ways, it makes your company even look better. It's like, hey, I had this person that worked here. Now they're over there doing this. Come be a partner here. Let's work. Let's learn about this stuff and work. So I don't know. That was one thing mentally. Like early on, I was really worried about competition, and I was really worried about somebody stealing my idea or like cutting something open and then they take all of our business. And that was a scary thing at the time. I'm like, this is not good. And then I kind of learned that like the internet is a big enough place. There's room for a lot of people. And if you just stick with what you are good at and what you're passionate about, people will come and stay because they like you and they like the way you do things. And there's enough room for other people to be successful that it doesn't take away from what you're doing. So.
Oh, I love that. Well, I love how you said, it's an accomplishment. It was kind of an accomplishment where someone comes and a compliment, they come to your organization and they go somewhere else and they achieve other great things. That's a great way of looking at it, is if you can create a work environment where it can be the pinnacle or one of the stakes of your employees' careers. I mean, you've contributed a lot, I believe, to society, and where you can motivate them on achieving other things. Now, we just hired is well over
a crazy amount of people in the last year. Like
year,
400 or something crazy.
Over 200 people in the last year. Over doubled our size of business when it comes to employment. And it's one of those points where like it's a very competitive space right now. And one thing where I'm pressurizing my team is that they need to be really good. If someone that has come in and has done such a good job, figure out how to inspire them to stay or find another position for them where they feel like they can have more growth. Because a lot of times people move not necessarily just for money, but they want to stay engaged. They want to stay excited. They want career growth. And we make sure that everyone has a 3-year plan. And that's something that we have to continue to reinforce, but it's not easy to do that. But the truth is, if we can be very transparent about everyone having a 3-year plan, the leader and the individual are both accountable of what happens in the next 3 years to make sure that individual can achieve their goals. And that's the only way to keep people that are going to be A players or people that really care about their jobs. We've been very fortunate to hire a lot of data scientists and people that are AI experts that are really in charge of inventing technology as we navigate this new world of decentralized content. And what we learned is we can get the people that Amazon, Google, Microsoft would all dream to have, as long as we can make sure that they have a seat at the table and that they feel like they can be a part of the decision-making process. And that's one of the biggest things that have happened as we've evolved into an AI business, is to make these very expensive, sought-after technologists and executives, to really feel like they're listened to and they're heard, and they can work on things that truly drive impact and that will actually be applied. Because a lot of these big companies have AI research, they invent stuff, and then nothing happens with it other than a patent. And we kind of have to keep that balance of innovation, but also make sure that we're truly addressing scale.
It's not something people think about even as a YouTube creator. They just think, well, you make funny videos on the internet. Yeah, and it's a business too. And you got to think about a lot of different aspects of it.
Well, that's the same with creators. You have to, evolve and scale. You have to continue to grow and optimize growth, but you're always going to have to figure out what is happening differently so I can stay relevant.